Hi everyone, I'm so glad you're here. Today I want to take you behind the scenes into my little creative world. I'll show you where I work, some of my favorite sketchbooks for sure, and tell you a bit more about myself and what inspires me. So make yourself a cup of tea and let's dive in. Okay, my name is Vlada, and first I want to say a huge thank you for being here. And you might notice that English is not my native language. Actually, I'm originally from Ukraine, and speaking on camera like this feels me a little bit scary, but I really want to share my world with you. Sometimes I worry that I can say something wrong or my accent sounds strange, but then I remember why I'm doing this. I want to connect with people who really love nature, art, quiet things that are so beautiful. And even my English isn't perfect, my heart is in every word. So, thank you for listening and for being open. A few years ago, I started keeping a botanical sketchbook simply as a way to slow down and connect with the seasons. Since then, it's become a big part of my life, a way to feel grounded and inspired. And now I share my drawings online, and I am happy when people from different countries enjoy them too. I also really want to build a cozy, small community for those who enjoy drawing and nature. So I want to use this moment to tell you that I recently created a Discord channel. If you want to meet like-minded people, share your drawings or sketches, or just talk about everything connected with nature and art, you're very welcome. And now, let me take you on a little tour in my studio. So, let's go! Okay, so let's start our little tour from the most important spot, my desk. It's truly the heart of my studio. At first glance, it might look like a gentle creative chaos. Leaves, dried grasses, little boxes, paints, brushes scattered everywhere. But that's exactly how I like it. For me, my workspace is like a tiny corner of a forest or garden. Every texture, every color, every leaf feels like an invitation to pause, get inspired, and feel connected to nature. It's important for me that everything around me is real and alive, even if it's dried. Being in this environment feels like nature gently wrapping me in a hug. And then it becomes so easy to focus, catch that creative wave, and start making something truly heartfelt and beautiful. Now, a little about the technical side of my work. To have enough light for both drawing and filming, I use two LED lamps. One is mounted on my wooden easel, and the other is attached to a tripod. It's very convenient. I can shoot tutorials and photograph finished pieces without switching setups. By the way, if you're curious to see how I photograph my drawings, just let me know in the comments. I'd love to make a video about it. To the right of my desk, there is a small shelf where I keep all my essential art supplies: jars, brushes, glue, and other materials. I like having everything within arm's reach. It makes working so much easier and the whole process calmer and more enjoyable. This is the back part of my mini studio. It's very simple here, just a small sofa. By the way, this is where my cats most often sleep. They especially love this spot. On the sofa, I usually keep drapes and backdrops that I use for filming. It's handy to have everything close by. Above the sofa, on the wall, you'll see my works done with left cast technique. It's an interesting multi-layer method that creates a kind of relief effect. These pieces were part of my university diploma project, and now they found their place here in my creative corner. Here is another piece of mine. It has a slight shine, but what makes it special is that it's entirely painted with coffee. This was my experiment with natural dyes, and I was pleasantly surprised by the result. Now let's head back to my desk. I want to show you what inspires me the most: nature's gifts. I'm endlessly fascinated by how different textures intertwine, how objects interact, and the soft color combinations that emerge. And of course, the tactile sensation. All of this is incredibly important to me. It fills me with joy and wonder simply because I'm alive. I can see, feel, and touch these forms. This gives me an endless source of inspiration. That's probably why, throughout my life, I've tried to collect these little pieces of natural beauty and preserve them. Yes, many are fleeting and ephemeral, but I think that's exactly where their special value lies. Textures in nature are always something unique to me. I love comparing a rough leaf with soft, fluffy cotton fibers, moss and its amazing surface. These unusual contrasts keep inspiring me again and again. That's why I keep them here on my desk, so they're always close at hand. Now, I'd like to share a bit about what I love creating using natural materials. For me, the main goal is to blend art and nature. That's where true inspiration lies. For example, one of my current projects is miniature portraits of wild plants painted on walnut shells. I really enjoy this combination, a natural base with hand-painted details. Another project I've been actively working on since last year is weaving with ordinary grass. Yes, simple grass can become an amazing material for creativity. This little box here is already a year old. As you can see, it keeps its shape well, doesn't crumble or break. We'll see how it holds up over time, but so far it's doing great. And the next box is made entirely from leaves. I soaked the leaves in glycerin, glued them into flexible sheets, and then wove these patterns from them. So it turned out this little box. Now I'd like to show you my shell curtains. Once, during a trip to the sea, I collected a huge number of shells. They were so beautiful and varied that I just couldn't leave them behind. But for a long time, I didn't know what to do with them. Then one day, I saw the idea of making hanging decorations out of shells and decided to give it a try. I really love how they turned out. Plus, they make a lovely rustling sound like the waves. Let's listen a little bit. Now let's move over a bit. I want to show you my little wall of drawings. Most of these are miniatures that I made back when I was a student. Each one is like a memory to me. It's one of my warmest, most cherished collection. You could say it's my favorite. There are pieces of different techniques here: pencil sketches, watercolors, oils, even simple notebook doodles. I love that these little oases of drawings and natural finds is where I can be inspired. It fills me up and gives me strength. And finally, a little about what I am working on right now. My absolute favorite thing is sketchbooks. I've already collected quite a stack of them. It's in these that I continue to tell my botanical stories through drawing. But to avoid overwhelming you all at once, I've decided to showcase the sketchbook separately with a cozy full review video. So in the next video, we'll flip through each notebook together and pick at every page. You'll see everything I love: botanical sketches, paintings with natural pigments, ink and pen graphics, and lots of other interesting things. So, if this sounds like your kind of thing and you want to browse the pages with me, be sure to stick around. I also absolutely love making handmade paper. I'm fascinated by the unique textures it creates. I'll show you a bit now. Handmade paper feels so alive. It's a real pleasure to draw on, as if the material and paper merge into something magical together. I even made a sketchbook out of this paper and have already started filling it. I'll definitely share it with the other sketchbooks in the next video. Every sheet has its own character. Some are rough, some sturdy, and some quite fragile. But it's that variety that gives it all its charm. Drawing on this paper feels very special. It has its own personality, and not all art materials work well on it. From my experience, liners and ink are the best match. They blend perfectly with the paper's texture. I've already created several drawings like this, and I'm really pleased with how they turned out. They almost look like they came from a past century, vintage, with a touch of time, like pages from an old botanical album. Other big source of inspiration for me is embroidery. Right now, I am working on a small series featuring wild grasses. I really love the satin stitch technique, even though it's not perfect yet. The process itself is incredibly enjoyable. This year, I started a new experiment, embroidering a collection of butterflies. I want to make them life-sized, and I'm really curious to gather them all together someday and see how they look as one composition. I try to express the beauty of nature not only through drawing, but also through different materials, embroidery included. Now, I want to show you a bit of my collections. One of my latest hobbies is collecting leaves of all shapes and creating a small collection from them. I love examining and comparing their structure, edges, veins. There is so much inspiration in them. I carefully press the leaves between books, and once they're fully dry, I store them here. In the future, I'd like to label each leaf with the name of the plant, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. Hopefully, I will. I guess I've been collecting what I call gifts of nature my whole life. I keep these treasures carefully in a box. There are stones, dried fruits, pine cones, pieces of bark, and many other things. On trips, walks in the forest, or just in the city park, nature often surprises me with such amazing, sometimes tiny treasures. Some of these gifts were brought to me by friends from other countries. For example, a piece of volcanic rock or an unusual stone from the Black Beach in Iceland. I love watching how nature creates. It may seem like a small thing, but if you look closely, each one holds a special beauty, texture, and story. I believe that even in the tiniest details, you can find something valuable and inspiring. That's probably why I want to keep these little pieces of the world as a reminder of the wonder that surrounds us. So, thank you so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoy this tour of my studio. It's a very special place for me where I draw, create something, and just get inspired by nature. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you soon and happy creating!